Hey, what's up, guys? This is your boy Travis back again here at Big Boy Toy Reviews with another review. This time we are taking a look at Storm Collectibles Baki Hanma from Grappler Baki. Jesus Christ. Grappler Baki. Super excited about this figure. I unfortunately sold all my other Storm Collectibles stuff away. So I don't have any Storm Collectibles to compare him to later in the review, but I'll do my typical comparisons. I'll pull out some other figures that might be his size that are also in like 1/12 scale, because he is considered to be in 1/12 scale, which I believe most Storm Collectible figures are bigger than that. But Baki is short, so maybe that's why he's 1/12. But then again, I guess that really wouldn't make sense because they scaled them to 1/12. They're still even larger figures just because they're not 1/12 as far as like height. The character is still 1/12 in the height that the character is. I don't know. You know what I mean. Anyway, here's the box. So there he is, still in the packaging. I do have one issue with this guy already, and I will note that when we start taking a look at him. But this is pretty standard, I think, Storm Collectibles box. I don't know. I haven't bought one in a while. But anyway, let's go ahead and get him out the box and let's talk about it. I do want to mention really quick that for some reason my plastic case that I just pulled out the box is totally jacked up. I'm not quite sure how this happened, but the box isn't beat up at all. So I'm not quite sure what happened during the packaging of this guy. But anyway, moving on. Right, so here is Baki out of the box, and I purposely started with this pose. You know, usually start like this, but I had to see if it was possible for him to hit this particular pose here. And kind of. There is a lot of finagling that you have to do to get him to even get close to that. This is the closest I could get to it that I felt comfortable. Without I felt comfortable that I wasn't going to break anything. As you can see, his little dangly bits are hanging out there. So obviously you would have to adjust the little diaper on the inside so it wouldn't show. If you want to do this pose, it's not easy. I'll get into the articulation later, but it's not the easiest pose to get into. It's cool looking, and you can stand him, obviously. I can hit on my table a little bit and sorry about that. I got an Amber Alert on my phone. So I don't know how that's going to come out. I'll probably just edit it. But anyway, so he will hold it. You know, he can hold his ground pretty good on one foot. But I just wanted to show you that it is possible. I didn't personally think it was possible when I started messing around with them, because I don't usually mess around with the figures before I start the review. But since they're putting him in very seemingly impossible poses on the back of the box, I had to mess around with him a little bit. But anyway, let me get him straight up and down, and then we can go on with the one more thing before the review starts. So while trying to get him back into a neutral pose, I noticed that I was trying to adjust this diaper here, and I noticed one thing, and this is for educational purposes only. So this diaper, one, is very big in this area. Like it's too much space here. If you can see all that space, and it's very, very thin. So I'm not quite sure why they did that. Because I can easily see that tearing over time. And there's really no way to fix or to do anything about that. It just is what it is. This snapping, because he has his shorts on, I don't think it would be that big of a problem because the shorts would just cover it up. But yeah, I just don't think it's just I don't know how much posing you can do before you tear this. So be careful when posing this guy, because this is a very, very soft plastic, and this is very, very soft also, and I can see this ripping at any moment. Now back to this. So here we have Baki in a regular pose, vanilla pose here, with his clothes back on. So straight out the box, I want to say I love this figure. This figure is awesome, absolutely awesome. You definitely should get him if you like the anime. If you just like muscular guys that look like they can fight, you should just get him. I just want to say this should be in everybody's collection if you're a action figure collector. With that being said, there are some issues with him. Some of these I think are typical Storm collectible issues, so I guess I can't really call them an issue, because you can adjust things to kind of fix the problem. So I guess you can't really call it a problem, but it's just annoying. But the one thing I do want to point out, and I'll see if I can put a picture somewhere on the screen of what they have him looking like in the promo pictures. In the promo pictures, he is way more tan. He is way more tan. And here he's very pale. The actual figure in hand is very pale. And despite the fact that I do love the figure, if you're going to have promo pictures that show what the figure looks like, just feel like you shouldn't be doing a whole bunch of Photoshop and editing to try to put shading in places that shading won't be, or make it look dark. Just show real poses, and then you can show like a couple of action shots and like that to just kind of hype the figure up. But don't try to play us and then give us a figure that's not the right color. But with that being said, let's just get a closer look here. Let's see. Let me adjust the camera here because he is a little bit taller than I. Alrighty. So, yeah. But other than the color, I think he looks amazing. He looks just like the anime. The proportions are phenomenal. I did just get done watching season 2 of Grappler Baki with Pickle, and I did not notice that they don't have nipples. Now, do they not have nipples in the anime? I'll have to go back and just take a quick peek, and then I'll probably like leave a little note down at the bottom or something that says yes, they do have nipples, and no, they don't. But I didn't notice, but he has all the scarring on him. Yeah, they did a damn good job. All of it is sculpted. All of it does have like a wash on it to bring out the scars. I mean, it's just shading all over the place in proper places. His back looks great. This is a soft piece. I think if you're a Storm Collectibles person, you already know how they kind of make their upper chest. So that is a soft piece, soft plastic. There is another issue that I'll get into with articulation, but yeah, just the shading all over the place. I love it. His shorts are nicely done. I personally like cloth goods on figures. I know they don't look right all the time, but these look really good. This part of the pants is stretchy, so that's cool. Just like little boxers shorts, or even boxer shorts, sure, because they have the what do you call this up here in boxer shorts? I forget, but the little stretchy part. Yeah, shading all over the place. His feet look really good. A bunch of paint. You can tell where the parts are painted. He just looks really good. His face looks just like the anime. This is soft up here, so this is a problem, and I'll get to that in the articulation. But his head does pop off very easily, and it can get annoying. Soft plastic. This is one thing I wanted to point out. This is the type of hair that all action figure companies should use. See how soft that is? Or, yeah, I mean, hopefully you can tell on the camera that this is very soft. They kind of mixed soft plastic with hard plastic on his head here, because back here, this is, although not extremely hard, not like a Marvel Legends hard or something like that, it's still relatively soft. But this is how all the hair should be made. I wish it was as soft back here as it is up here, because it would definitely help with the articulation. But I think that they're getting there. And when they do, they'll be killing it. I mean, Storm Collectibles is already killing it. But this reminds me of the Figma Rider from Fate Stay Night, that pink-haired girl. I did a review of her some time back. All her hair is super soft, and it works, and I like it. And I said then that they should make all action figure hair with that kind of, I don't know if it's PVC, I don't know what plastic they're using to make it that soft, but they should all use it. I don't know if it makes it more expensive or what, but I'll pay extra to be able to have long hair, a character with long hair or longer hair past the shoulder hair, and it's still able to look up because the hair is soft. So yeah, I like it. This dude looks absolutely amazing. So as far as details, this guy is top notch, absolutely top notch. I think this is one of this could easily be figure of the year for some people, especially if you really love the anime. This could easily be figure of the year for a lot of people. But anyway, let's get to the accessories. All right, now for accessories, he does come with a set. He does come with 4 sets of hands, 3 heads, and 2 extra wrist pegs. The first set of hands are these hands here. These are like I guess like style pose hands. They are done really nicely. As most people know, the Storm Collectible hands are really soft and typically easy to put on. So these are sculpted and shaded very well. So I like those. Then he has another set of hands that are very similar to those hands. So I mean, he's a fighter, right? So basically, all he's going to be doing is posing in fighting stances. So basically, these are all like fighting stance hands. So those are another pair of open hands. Here is another pair of open hands. And then we have another pair of fist hands like he has on him, but they slightly have the thumb up. This might be in reference to something, but I'm not quite sure what it is. This might be just kind of how he stands when he's getting cocky or something. Then we have 3 extra heads, and I didn't point out on the first head, but you do have his mole. So this is like a smiling head with his eyes kind of drooping. I guess he's like in love here, or either that or he's smiling because he's super excited about fighting Pickle. And let's just all admit that if you've seen season 2, that's the zestiest season of Baki the Grappler I've ever seen. That whole season is zesty as hell. But that's a really cool face. Then we have I'm pissed off face. You know, you was fucking with my chick, and now it's time to get that ass kicked. So that's what face this is. And so yeah, and I just like the detail in it. It's just so nice, the detail in these faces. I'll get a little bit closer here. But yeah, that one's really nice. And then we have the good old yelling face. And this one is super duper animated. I freaking love it. If you've seen the anime, you know the animation style and how they draw like people yelling and stuff is super over the top, super exaggerated, and it's just hilarious. The anime is hilarious. They have filler episodes in it that can get kind of boring, but when they get to the fighting and stuff, man, it is just hilarious sometimes. But yeah, season 2. I would just call that the season of zest. But that's the yelling head, and then you just get 2 more wrist pegs, and that is it for accessories. So going over articulation. So his head is on a double ball peg, and it's a pretty long ball peg. I think it goes to about right there. The issue with this, and I don't know if there's any way around it because of due to the shape of Baki's head and how small it is, that they could have done anything better. But he can't look up for real, so you would have to use that neck to even get him to look up, and a lot of times it gives him that no chin, double chin kind of look, and it's unfortunate because Baki is always going to be that cat that's always looking up at somebody because he's short as hell, and you don't want to get it too far back because obviously you want him to be posed like he has a chin and like he has a neck. So that's unfortunate, but he can look down when you're using that neck peg especially, so he can look down really well. I don't know who he's going to be looking down at. I guess that kid that he talks to all the time. And then you do get a lot of side to side. Obviously, Storm collectible necks are really soft, so you can get that going all around. Surprisingly, I did not pop his head off during that articulation example, so that's amazing. His arms can go up past parallel, a little bit past parallel, so he can do past the T-pose, so that's really good. Do have some squeaky joints here, which tend to be the case on these a lot. He does get shifting up and down on this ball peg, so he can shift up and down. So if you want to get him like straight up and down, you can, but unfortunately, oh, I spoke too soon. But unfortunately, he's gonna look a little, choppy here, and his shoulders won't look as big. So I would suggest keeping him up there, but it is possible. He does have a butterfly joint in here. So this is where we're going to get into the issue. Posing his arms are not a problem per se, but the problem where you come into, if you want to get too dynamic, this soft chest piece, it's going to start rising up on the neck here. Especially if you want to, you see that? Especially if you want to get his arms up, this is a good demonstration. Unfortunately, because the head is so loose on that ball peg, it just pops the head right off. So it's not a problem. You can adjust it and pop the head back on and do whatever posing that you need to do, but it will pop the head off. So that's a bit unfortunate. I mean, for figure photography and stuff like that, you can obviously finagle it. But for the average collector that doesn't really do figure photography and stuff like that, and you just kind of want to pose your figures every once in a while, it could get annoying. I don't know if the other heads are better on the ball peg. I can do a quick test just to see if I pop that head on and see if it feels a little bit tighter, actually, to see if I can pop that head off. No. Oh, it took a little more effort to pop that head off. So I don't know how to fix that. Maybe you can, I don't know. I don't really know what you can do to fix that. Maybe put some super glue on that ball peg to thicken it up. Let it dry and then thicken it up to maybe get those heads to fit on there better. But it's really not that big a deal. I mean, it's really not that big of an issue. His head is articulated just fine. It's not like it'll really cause any issues, but I had to point that out because that is a problem. Anyway, he does have bicep swivel. He does get over 90 degrees on his elbow, and it looks pretty good. I like how that looks. He does have ball hinge wrists. That's good. Then we get over to the torso. So he can crunch about that far. He can go backwards with just the top joint about that far. And then if you want to use the lower joint, you can get, I'm only getting about that much more out of the lower joint. I might not be adjusting it right. His head's about to pop off again. But that looks about all you can get there. And then if you want to go back, he does go back hella far, which seems to be the thing on figures. Like, is this just not a standard in the figure industry or the action figure industry that don't make the figures crunch forward? I feel like they should crunch forward more than they can crunch backwards. I feel like most people pose their figures more crunch forward than they do backwards. I mean, that's just odd to me. There seems to be an industry standard these days. Hey, let them crunch, or let them bend backwards more than they bend forward. Super weird. You can get a twist out of that top joint, and you do get plenty of tilt. So you will get him posing just fine with that top joint. Bottom joint, he does have a waist twist, and that does kind of roll all around. It's a little stiff, so you might not be able to get it to go, but you can get plenty of side to side motion on there. Like I said, this is a real, these are soft good shorts, so they won't get in the way. So he can do the splits. So just using the joint to just normally, he can only get out that far. I would have expected him to get out further than that. I mean, this is Baki, you know what I'm saying? But if you adjust it, you can get him to come out a bit more. So it is possible to get his splits to go a little bit more. I'm not going to crank on that joint any more than I need to, because you can hear that it is very, very squeaky. He does have got another freaking Amber Alert. So he has thigh swivel here, not a whole lot. You can probably get more out of that if you loosen that joint up a bit, but it's good enough. As far as knee bend, he can bend his knee that far, so that's not too bad. It is a little long here, but it might look like that on the anime. I do like the knee. I do like what the knee looks like when it's bent. It's not terrible. Ankles. So the ankles are an issue. You can go down pretty far, but up, no way. This sock is definitely blocking it. It would have been nice if they had made that like a soft piece and adjustable to where it would move as you move the foot, but they didn't. And then it's a very steep, very steep ankle tilt. So they didn't put like a cut. It would have been nice if they had put like a cut here, so he can actually rotate his ankle. But that's a super steep hinge, and it goes the other way too. I would argue that it goes the other way better. So the ankles, you can work with them, but going up, I think, is a problem. You should be able to go up more than just like parallel, like just straight. And then he does have a toe hinge, which I think that's a good toe hinge. So yeah, he has a good, mostly good set of articulation for a figure that is the master of like every fighting style. I feel like he should be way more articulated. There are some issues with obviously there are some issues with his ankles. There's some issues with his head. So no figure is perfect, obviously. And if I could get him to stand, as you see me struggling to get him to stand, there's no perfect figure ever. But for a guy that is strictly made for fighting, I feel like we should have gotten a little more range out of certain areas. But with that being said, I still do like the articulation. So let's get on to some comparisons. All right, so here he is next to the Wano versions of Zoro and Luffy. And I think they scale well together. I think Variable Action Heroes is a good scaling for the for Storm Collectibles. Now that I look at him next to these two, I think he actually might be a little big. I think he's bigger than 1/12. Actually, I think most Storm Collectibles are bigger than 1/12, but they advertise him as 1/12. So yeah, that's what he looks like with the variable action heroes. Here he is next to SH Figure Arts Evil Majin Buu and the OG SH Figure Arts. I think that's Full Power Broly. I think that's the name that they gave him. I'm not sure. Scaling is fine here. Broly is supposed to be gigantic, and that version of Majin Buu is supposed to be really tall. So I think the scaling here is fine too. 1/12 goes with 1/12, but I think they look good together. And here he is next to the newer Full Power Broly and the OG SH Figure Arts Android 16. And yeah, there they are. They look fine together. They look very similar to the other scaling of the other two. I think Android 17 is actually a little short. I think he was supposed to be bigger, but Android, or did I say 17? I meant Android 16. But Android 17 and Android 17 and Android 18 chip. Android 18 are really short. So compared to them, he is very tall. But I think he's shorter than Baki, which I think is not right. I think Android 16 should be quite a bit bigger than Baki, but that's what they look like together. Now here he is next to the Marvel Legends thing from the Fantastic Four, and then we have Dr. Doom. And Dr. Doom they're about the same height. I'm not quite sure how tall Dr. Doom is supposed to be. I feel like he's supposed to be bigger. And I do have the thing crouched down a little bit. But the thing would be bigger than him if I had him standing straight. I guess I could get him to stand up straighter. I've had him posed in that pose for so long that he probably needs to stretch anyway. So there we go. So the thing's bigger, but scale wise, they're in the same scale. So that's what Baki looks like with them, or I should say a Marvel Legend. And here he is next to NECA Leonardo from the first Ninja Turtles movie, and then we have Steel from Man of Steel, I think. And yeah, I don't think the scaling is quite right here. Steel should definitely be bigger. Leonardo is hunched over a little bit, but I think Baki would technically still be bigger than him. So the scaling is definitely off with Mayfex. And it looks like it might be a little off with NECA too, but I feel like NECA tends to run big. But anyway, that's what he looks like with him. And for time's sake, I'm just gonna throw in all the Mayfex characters I was going to compare him with, and I think Mayfex is just too small. I think Mayfex tends to run smaller just normally, but for a Storm Collectibles, I think it's way too small. But that's what he looks like with a bunch of Mayfex figures. And then here he is next to my two new boos, Whiskey Sour on the right, and then Sunflower, we'll call her Sunflower, Science Cat Lady, on the left. And obviously the scaling is quite a bit off here. But you know, Baki might like him some tall chicks, you know what I'm saying? I love me a tall chick. So he might just be into this. This might be his thing. You know, Baki can pull him. So, but this is what he looks like with some random, like third-party figures. I think he looks good. But other than that, I think that is it for comparisons. I think Figma's would be way too small. I'll throw a couple of Figmas in here real quick. But I think they will be too small. So here he is next to Sophia F. Shearing on the right. And then we have Arteria Pendragon on the left, or you can call her Lancer, from the Fate Grand Order video game. And although I think she scales fine with him, I think she's a little too short, but her cape is weird, and it makes her bigger than she, or wider than she actually is. So maybe without the cape, I think she might be fine with him. So Figma's, as much as I thought it wouldn't work, I think Figma actually would look good with Baki. Obviously the animation styles are different, so you couldn't really throw him in there, but Figma might go with him. But that is it for comparisons. So let's get over to my conclusion and get the hell up out of here. All right, so in conclusion, this dude is awesome. Go get him. Now, if you collect figures, collect this guy. Go get this guy. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you collect. Go get this guy. This dude is awesome. He poses really nicely. This is probably not the greatest pose in the world. I am not a figure art or figure photographer, so I'm not a big time poser or anything, but he's fantastic. His articulation is fine. His look is amazing. He looks just like the anime. He has awesome accessories. Would I have liked him to come with like some kind of like a swoosh or something, like a kicking swoosh or a punching swoosh effect or something like that? Sure, that would have been nice. But he didn't come with it, and the accessories that he does have, I am completely satisfied with them. Especially if you're gonna get his dad that's coming out in a couple of months, the ogre, Yajiru Hanma, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I just got done watching the second season, and for some reason, I can't get his name right. But this dude is awesome. I'll put the price in somewhere around like this area or up here or somewhere. I'll put the price somewhere. I think he's somewhere around $90 something. I did get him from Big Bad Toy Store. From what I saw, I think I did get him a little early because from the time of this recording, they're still doing pre-orders. So I don't know how many of these they currently have in stock. Luckily, they charged me early, so I was able to do an earlier review. I know there's some other reviews of people that, got samples sent out to them and stuff because they're special and they have a lot of subscribers. I'm not special, but luckily, thank you, Big Bad Toy Store, for getting this to me earlier than normal, I guess. I don't know if it's normal or not. I don't buy from Big Bad Toy Store a lot, but if I'm gonna keep buying Storm Collectibles, obviously they would be coming from Big Bad Toy Store. I know this was a long video. I do apologize. There was a lot I wanted to say about this guy, so I'll do my best to edit out a lot of the any spacing, but I just wanted to thank you guys, anybody that's watching my videos. I am new to the community, so any love that you show me is deeply, deeply appreciated. So I just wanted to thank my current followers and any of my future followers that might watch this video. I love you, and thank you so much. Peace.